is Game Time Live. We're taking you around the league. Some good ones tonight. Ja, and how about the Conley return to Memphis? And still going Millsap. Nice look from Will the Thrill on the break. Lead 18 then. But what about now? We take a look as we go live, and it's up to 20 with 2+ to go in half number one. We talk about the Denver Nuggets as I'm sitting here with it's coaches and coachable tonight, which is what we call the show. Sam, not the coachable one. We got that B-Shaw and Sam Mitch here. So I ask you guys as coaches to not have as many changes as all these other Western Conference teams did coming in, B-Shaw. I felt like teams slept on the fact that for Mike Malone and company, right, other than Porter fitting in, a lot of continuity at the beginning of the year.
Definitely, and that's what you want, you know, and I think that they kind of relish kind of being the forgotten team, the not so talked about team. You know, they can kind of fly under the radar, but the majority of their rotation players are back. There is some continuity there and some familiarity, and I think that that'll pay dividends as we get into the season.
Sam, we always talk about, you know, what you learn when you win. Coming close, getting a high seed, getting in, having a tough series, getting ousted the way they did. How much different do you think mindset-wise Jokic, Murray, and company are at this point in the season having gone through that?
Well, it's not the little technical things you learn when you don't win and you come up short. It's that you're not good enough. And so what players do in the offseason, that's when you go back and fine-tune your game. That's when you go back and work on that one move that teams took away from you in the playoffs. Because be sure I'll tell you, in the playoffs in a 7-game series, you're going to be well scouted. Teams are going to take away your first and second option, what you like to do best. So you got to develop that third go-to move or a counter so when teams take away what you like to do. And so that's what you learn. Because as you grow in this league and you understand you get deep in the playoffs, hey, at the end of the day, it's about whoever has the best players who can go one-on-one and create opportunities for themselves and their teammates got the best chance of winning.
We talk about rookies, and there always is the expectation, even though each other shouldn't be, right? Because I remember going back for all the stuff we said about his family members, and I'm already bringing the heat here with Sam. He's sweating already. What do you? Everybody I work, I don't know.
I got menopause, man. I'm over 50.
I work with Haywood.
I got menopause.
By the way, Haywood doesn't even sweat anymore.
Wait till you turn 40.
I already turned 40.
Now you look like you're 18.
Well, I appreciate
it.
Fella. Only because I'm good looking. So, but for Morant, I think, speaking of slept on, coming off what you talked about, people wanted to kind of downplay me, kind of, even in the tournament, what they say. I don't know, he played in the... I don't know if anyone's downplaying the ability now.
No, you know, not at all. And I think that, you know, there was so much hype this summer after the draft about Zion Williamson that, you know, people kind of slept on him, even though... And the fact that he went to a small school, they say, well, the competition that he played against. But talent is talent, and you can see it. And on top of the talent that he has that tenacity and that ferociousness that he plays with nonstop, you know, on the offensive end. And so, you know, this guy is tough, and he's starting to make a name for himself already in his rookie season. I
said this when we were doing the tournament down the hall, one of our other studios in this large complex. First nationally televised game, second round of the tournament, took 9 shots. Hit most of them, 16 assists, but that was his, hey, I'll show you, and was thinking of trying to win the game, get to the next round. That tells you what you need to know. Lead 22, though, for Denver. Having said all that, Morant has 11. Let's stay. I feel like Chuck Woolery, because we're old enough from Scrabble, on the P and point guards. DJ Augustine.
He goes down.
Almost missed the hand, but that pinky gets in a way, and he goes down hard. Another look.
Let's see where the... Had he already been injured by then?
I think it's on when he comes down here. Is it not a swat?
Yeah, I think...
Nope, must have been hurt already.
Before we picked up that replay. Yep.
Either that or it was like a delayed reaction where he got jammed, maybe didn't think about it. But the good news is... How about Markelle Fultz to save the day? Yes!
Oh, young fella.
That and the fact that the paint had cooties for the Wizards on defense, but either way, lead 7. 7 again, another
Anyone
one
gonna
for
play defense?
Fultz. That's what's the opposite of a closeout? IT right there was doing it. Meanwhile, Fultz, 14, 6 assists, big time, taking over the first half. Here are his comments at the break.
Just pushing the ball, pushing the pace in transition, trying to use our defense to get us going on offense. I'm just shooting the shots that are open. If I have an open shot, I'm going to try to shoot it. If not, I'm trying to create for my teammates.
That's a team that can score, third best in the NBA. What are the challenges trying to slow them down out there?
We just got to get back in transition. They push it on makes and misses, so we got to do a better job of getting back in transition and trying to slow them down.
We don't know about Mike or DJ. We hope they're back. If not, are you ready to go? How you feeling if you got to go the distance?
Definitely, I'm ready to go, but I hope my guys are back on the court, man.
Now, he's referencing as we welcome you in, speaking of coaches and coachable, we're Game Time Live till 10 on the East, back at 11. Another couple hours and really all through the morning, but at 4 a.m., believe it or not, we work hard, but it's not live, as we thought we'd tell you. It is now. Sam Mitchell, B. Shaw. So let's talk about Fultz. He was referencing not only Augustine out, MCW also left the game. Doesn't look like he'll return, so we're going to get to see a lot of Fultz, but I want to talk mindset. You guys as players and as coaches have coached players where a guy is kind of a little bit lost, which is not a thing any of us haven't gone through, Sam. But how much can even a game like this and hitting big buckets and helping the team in a spot they need him rise in that confidence?
Well, look, everybody in the league can play. It's all about confidence, when you have it and when you lose it. And what Markelle Fultz right now is experiencing, he's trying to get his confidence back. And this is the thing. His was public. Most of the time when a player loses his confidence, it's during practice, it's games, it's in-house. The coach can cut his minutes back. You can kind of manage this guy until he comes out of that funk. What happened to this young man was news. He was the number one pick. So everything he did, he was followed. It was written down. It was talked about. So he's had a hard time trying to come back because everything was documented. When you watch him play now, it seems like he's finally in a place where he's getting comfortable. He's in a place where he feels wanted. And now he's around a group of guys that respect his talent, and they're allowing him to grow. And you see him in this first half, 6 for 6 from the field. And the thing that they really want him to take over that starting point guard position because athletically, he's far superior than Augustine.
They always say, we were talking about the converging of sports, if you're not hitting home runs, a bloop single will work, because sometimes you just need to feel good, right? Get to the line. How much, be sure, if you're sitting there in that coaching staff, are you pushing him? Now, the lane may not be as open as we just saw, but here's a guy who can run coast to coast, can get to the basket, do those little things so you could feel good at least seeing it go in. Don't worry so much about the shot.
Well, exactly. I mean, you don't succumb to the pressure of what everybody else wants to see you do. You do what you do well and what got you to that point. And I think for him, Sam, being in a new place and having a fresh start with this Orlando Magic team. When he was in Philadelphia, being the number one pick, he was under a microscope. He was in a fishbowl. He had some personal issues going on, and then he lost his confidence. Now he's able to step back and get back to the basics and the fundamentals, and like I said, do the things that got him to be the number one pick. And so for him, if it's driving to the basket, if it's getting out in transition, if it's getting to the free throw line and seeing the ball go in, all those things are things. He's done everything so many times, so much repetition. Now it's finally getting back to muscle memory, because he's done it so many times, and the game will start to simplify itself for him. And now being thrust into this situation with those injuries, it's just going to help his confidence rise. He's going to see that his team needs him to play well, and as he starts to play well, which he's doing now, he'll just get better and better.
Now, individually, we're talking Fultz now, but let's be honest, the Magic offense to start the year was offensive. Last few days, much better, and that turns into wins. You don't need any kind of TI-82 calculator for that for you sabermetricians. And they're moving the ball well, but the most important thing is shot making. In this league, that's simple because I think, too, LeBron watching the Lakers now, and everyone's like, oh, he's leading the league in assists. With no offense, Reggie Bullock, you can name a bunch of other. There were a lot of missed shots. He could have had a lot of assists last year. For the Magic, they brought Ross back. They've got guys like Fournier. They need to be shot makers on the perimeter to be any good.
Well, all teams go through stretches like this. Even the best teams in the league right now are going to have a 4 or 5 game stretch where they just can't throw it in the ocean. They can't defend. They can't rebound. That's just the nature of a long NBA season. But the thing that you have to do as a coach, you have to keep reminding yourself, because this team was a playoff team last year. So they have some good players. They got good memories from last year. And so all Steve Clifford doing is just reminding these guys, hey, look, we're a good basketball team. The shots are going to fall, but let's do the things that we know we can do. We can run in transition. We can make the extra pass. We can attack the basket, get to the free throw line. Worry about doing those things, and then the other things that come, the shot making. And you look at it now, tide has turned a little bit. They're starting to make shots. And again, B, you know this. When that ball starts going in the hole, your defense gets better, your rebounding gets better, your assists, everybody's happy. And so right now what you're seeing now is Orlando Magic turning the corner, and they're a good basketball team, and they're going to get better.
You know, when you look at Memphis, and I want to talk about this because we talk about transition, when you guys are sitting there coaching against some grit and grind, right? How are they doing X with Y? Even in a year, remember years ago, everybody was injured, it seemed, and they're still kind of hanging around. You can kind of even early on with Morant, it's one player, but you got Jaren Jackson, the way Dylan Brooks plays. There's an identity of a little bit more style and flair than we're used to the Grizzlies. No offense to Gasol and Conley, but you can see that identity shifting a bit now, right?
No question about it. You know, they had the makeup of the team was different when you think about the original Grindhouse when it was Zach Randolph and Mark Gasol and Lionel Hollins was running pick and rolls to get the ball inside to those guys to grind you down. Now, definitely with Jaren Jackson, who can play inside but also can step outside, Ja Morant and his dynamic playmaking ability, they have a different mindset, but they still want to embrace the reputation that building has, which is the Grindhouse. And when you come in there, win or lose, you're going to feel like you've been in the game and you've been in a dogfight.
We talked about the dogfight Denver went through last year. I mean, Jokic, I know sometimes he could look like he could be winded, but he did like 700 minutes in a game. For him as a player who, it's interesting, kind of people talked about, wow, a star, then, well, I'm not sure. Can we trust him? And then, wow, I don't know. It's almost kind of up and down for whatever reason. He's a pretty darn good, talented player, whether he's Embiid or not, Sam. What did you learn about him watching what you saw down the stretch? And now how do the expectations for a star, if you're the coach, to go up?
Well, I think because he's not a great athlete, people keep waiting for him to fall, keep waiting for him not to take that next leap, and he keeps doing it. And the thing that people don't understand about him is that he's comfortable with who he is. He's had that body all his life, so to speak. So he knows what is in shape for him. And then when you watch him play mentally, that's where he has the advantage. His skill set in mental, he's mentally tough. He don't back down, and he understands how to take certain things away. When you watch him defensively, that's the thing that's amazing to me. For a guy that's not as quick or the athlete that you would like for him to be, he beats guys to spots because he thinks, he reads his scouting report, he takes away what players like to do, their favorite move. And B, know this, if you take away most big guys' favorite move, they got only one counter, a jump hook or a step through or something like that. And he sits on those moves, and he uses his body to wall up. And again, he know he's not going to block your shot, so he uses his chest. You remember those guys who use their chest to get you off your spot and keep them hands off you?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you sit there and you think about kind of where you are now with Jokic, we know that Denver is expected to kind of be back there, but they're not alone. And by the way, neither is he. Doncic, 40-yard dash. Sam, I might take you.
I think I can get him.
I might take you. But he's done okay. We'll talk about him later in the show. We got a lot more coming when we return on Game Time Live. The name of a rock star in a game of somebody who certainly has that confidence and the hair, Jackson Hayes. And this version of the Warriors, what, 2-10? You mean the Golden State Warriors? It's more like Pat
Payback.
Who was just
It's payback time, ain't it, B. Shaw?
Everything turns on a trifle.
We'll also get to Buddy Ball. Can Hield and Company stay king on a Sunday night? And the net rating, and the net is kind of important in this game. How about 8.8 ahead of the Bucks, the Lakers? The Suns have been very good this year, and the Heat off to a great start as well. They've lost Gordon Hayward. They already didn't have Kyrie. How is it all going to feel? It's fit pretty well for the Celtics, at least until Sunday. Tatum and the C's looking for 11 in a row. But Buddy Ball on Sundays, late Buddy Ryan knew this, always
Said Buddy don't
going
have
to
a
be
mid-range
difficult. Speaking of defense, the strip transition finish. Buddy Hield 16, B. Shaw 7 of 11 in the first half.
And that looks good. He's finally, he's earning that money that he just
Yes,
got.
he is.
And getting better as we go. Jaylen Brown, we know he can hit buckets, does a little bit of everything, gets the three, and then Sam Kemba's been a difference maker.
Yeah, Kemba's in that MVP talk, too. Kemba Walker is kept carrying this Boston team to the best record in the NBA.
Celtics, more offense. Lead 2, Tatum, an extra swing from Smart. It was Smart. Lead 5 for the Celtics, but Buddy Hield Did you say mid-range? Is that DeMar DeRozan offense now for the Kings?
Way to go, Casey. You do watch a little basketball.
A little bit.
baseball.
I've, there's enough time during a baseball game to do a lot of things. Daniel Tice with the slam, lead 199-98. Lead one, Campbell, a miss, Smart. How about Rashawn
Why
Holmes?
didn't he kick that out, B-Show? You get an offensive rebound like that, kick it out or call a timeout. You don't have to shoot it. Look at it, and he knows it.
Yeah, he wanted to be
He
the
should have
hero.
kicked it out, yep.
Made the first, knocks down the second, and then the Celtics. Last chance.
He got a good look.
Oh!
Little Mike Conley-like finger roll.
It hung on the rim. Oh, it looked like it was going to fall. Look at that. Oh!
Heartbreak.
That's how the game works, right? Bounces 9 more times, goes in. You're Allen Houston. Here's $100 million. Sacramento 100-99 over Boston gets the victory. They had 110 straight, and road warriors they were, even with the injuries. When you look at where they are on this road trip for the Boston Celtics, Buddy Hield, though, no place like home for him.
What did it take for you guys to be able to get this done?
First of all, glory to God. Without him, it's not possible for us. But we desperately need to win. We had a tough one in L.A. And thank God we were able to pull this one through. It was a great team, Marcus had a good look at it. Our game plan is run up the line, make a finish. Unfortunately, it came out, so thank God for this win.
Buddy, we're going to throw out the month of October. We don't care about that anymore. What is happening in November is you guys have 2 losses to the defending champions and the best team in the West by a combined 6 points, and then you beat the best record in the league with Boston. Yeah. What has been the biggest difference this month?
Staying locked in, staying focused. We start off with, we know what we're capable of doing. We have a great coaching staff behind us, great management. And once you take one game at a time and try to get back over 500 and wait till our point guard gets back, and we'll be fine.
You mentioned De'Aaron being out, Bagley hopefully returning soon. You guys have been able to do this shorthanded. What kind of hope does that give you guys in terms of what your potential is come April?
It's always next man up. How you look at the NBA, we all professionals, we all got a job. We got to go there and do our job. So we got to stay focused, stay locked in, and be ready for every challenge every night.
Well, did his job, he did. We'll talk Buddy in a second. Season high 35 and 7 threes. For the Celtics, take care of this version of Golden State. Then it gets incrementally tougher. Sacramento almost beats the Lakers. Then they knock off Boston. You got Phoenix. In Phoenix, no slouch this year. And then the Clippers in Denver, not so much either. So let's talk about it because as coaches, you know this. I mean, everybody can rally around, but when somebody is playing as well as Gordon Hayward, and it's such a sad thing to see, he really was playing great basketball, was playing and you take those points off, the other things he does, now you're asking more. Are we asking too much offensively maybe of the rest of what they have on the team?
No, I don't know that we consider it asking too much. But, when you do take away that, and Gordon Hayward was playing incredibly well before his injury, it is tough to make that up. But, they have enough young guys who have experience that are capable of stepping up and filling that void that Gordon Hayward left with Jaylen Brown, with Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, even though he didn't play that well today. Those guys are capable of doing some things out there on the floor. The constant has to be on the defensive end. And maybe they're a little bit worn out, a little bit weary. You saw when they played Golden State, they won 105-100 against, as you called it, this version of Golden State, and you would have expected them to go in there and blow them out. So it's taking its toll a little bit, but I still think that they're capable of sustaining until they get the help back.
You mentioned the names you did, and just because easy segue, because we opened this show, Game Time Live tonight, talking about and watching what the Magic were doing, and Markelle Fultz. You think of Tatum. And I go back to remember sitting right here for the game in Game 7. Mano a mano. Big shot LeBron one end, Sam. Big shot from Tatum the other. Last year we didn't see as demonstrative. Now you expect, okay, Gordon out. Maybe this is the time we kind of get back. Are you seeing enough of that? What's keeping us from getting the guy that it seems like we really saw the height of in terms of that aggression offensively late in the playoffs 2 years ago?
Well, just look, you got better players around him. You got Gordon playing well now. You got Brown. Look, the ball has to be shared. He's not on a team where he could dominate the basketball. Obviously, this young man is super talented, and I think he could be a 22 to 25 point scorer in this league. But the team is not built that way. When you look at this Boston Celtics team and you look at the pieces that they have 3 guys that can flat out score the basketball. Now, to be sure, without Gordon Hayward, yeah, they're going to miss him. But there's just more shots for some of these other young guys. They're not going to cry about that. But again, he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to have his moments. But it's just hard when you have that much young talent. All those guys have to touch the ball because be sure I'll tell you, the only way to keep your defense moving and thumping and humping the way it is that ball moving. If a player can touch the ball on the offensive end, he's going to be more focused and more energized on the defensive end. And that's the thing that the Celtics have to keep doing. Keep pushing the rock, keep moving the rock because it's going to pay dividends on the other end.
And thumping we'll stay with. On the Buddy Family Show. Buddy Hield, Sunday dinners. Buddy Hield, a lot of talk about Swipe the Fox, such a growth bee from year one to year two. You can tell the work he put in. And it seemed like maybe because of that, people not slighted, but didn't pay as much attention, put a spotlight on the work Buddy Hield did year to year. And it looks like even more so a better player now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's at a point where the game is starting to slow down a little bit for him. You got to remember that they brought in a new coach in Luke Walton, along with Igor, who's doing their offense. And so, just getting used to the nuances of this offensive system and how they're doing things, it took a little while. And then he signed a big contract, so there's a lot of expectation that comes along with that. But I think now he's kind of settled into it. We saw them talk about let's throw out the month of October. The team is playing a lot better, and it correlates with Buddy Hield playing a lot better and knocking down shots. And so, this team, they're 5-7 now, but look out, they're trending in the right direction, and they're missing Swipe the Fox and Marvin Bagley. So, they're getting a lot done with less personnel right now.
Yeah, that's clearly a lot of the offense. And, Sam, if you're looking defensively where you'd pay attention, but Bogey is drawing a lot of attention. And he's making everybody else, I think, better, allowing Buddy to kind of do his thing. Such an underrated player, size where he could be so versatile, and really all the Bogdanoviches, the other one had a big game-winning three-pointer this week, have done well. But maybe we've missed that this is a budding star, too, to use the pun of Buddy here.
Well, I think for the average fan, they may not know who he is, but we in basketball, absolutely. And then think about it, the Sacramento Kings definitely know how good this young man is. When you watch him play, he's kind of like a Swiss utility knife. He can do a lot of things. Look at him right here in transition, just moving the ball. And when he gets his feet set, he can flat out shoot the basketball. But the thing that separates him from a lot of other players is his playmaking ability and his ability to make his teammates better. Look at this coming off that screen, just reading the defense. Again, knocking down shots. But again, are y'all going to show some clips this young man doing? We know he can do this. Come off this screen, read the defense. Look at that. Step right into a shot. And again, watch him again here, coming off the screen, reading the defense, moving without the ball, and just watch. This is what you love as a basketball coach. Look at him read the defense, attacks down here, fadeaway jump shot from the corner. So when you watch him, they're just showing the things that he does offensively, like we all love to see guys score. But the thing, B-Shaw, that separates him when he has the ball in his hand, he makes his teammates better. He's smart. He's another guy on the floor that can pass and shoot and make guys better. And when you have him out there with Fox and you have him out there with Belly, Nemanja, now you got a really pass and shooting basketball team.
That's right.
The other thing, too, is defensively, he got very active hands. And even though, we look at him and you talk about different spots because of the size, a lot of times when guys get extra possessions, we don't look at the stats for that. And we think of big men on the boards. He's one of those guys who creates those, diving on the ball, making a smart play, things Marcus Smart does, maybe not with the same ferocity. And it sets a culture, doesn't it, for the rest of the team? He's one of those guys. He seems to be working as hard as anybody on the floor nightly, too.
He does, and the one thing that I notice about him is that it seems that his teammates love playing with him out there on the floor. He's always smiling, making plays, as Sam alluded to, and he's in the right position. He's in the right place at the right time. So you can not be the fastest, most athletic guy, but because your positioning is good, you still find yourself around the ball all the time, and he seems to be one of those types of players.
Well, who is going to get the ball at the right time late in the season for the Sixers? You're good when we're having those kind of conversations. Even tonight we were. Before this show, Tobias Harris, so he'd like it this close the way he shot lately, but we'll see what happened tonight. And gotten a lot of love and gotten it from Kevin, except even with this good look, not able to finish what would have been the trifecta, 3 straight on the road, and instead, the mad scramble ends up with Embiid and the Sixers sneaking out. Here's another baseball tip. Let's play 2. Do it again. Nick Maletti, congrats, founder and original owner of the Cavaliers, honored with a 2016 championship ring. Nice piece of jewelry. Joel Embiid, sure this shocks you, doesn't care about that. Easy over Tristan. He had 14, all 14 of his points in the first half. Lead was 13. Al Horford and the addition, and be sure what it means, do a lot of different things for you.
Yes, he can. He can get it to you inside and give it to you outside. You know he's a consummate leader in that locker room as well.
Finds Ben, the cut. Little bit of a ole there from Sexton. And then eventually Tobias Harris in close, 67% from the field, 20 assists first half. They're up 29. It would be 24 at the break. More Harris here, Sam.
Yeah, just look at Ben Simmons make that pass, and Harris just getting deep post-up position on one of them little guards from Cleveland.
Now, this is Tybalt for the dunk. If anybody didn't realize why he broke like every record ever for steals, watching this guy is like, it's like watching like Richard Sherman out there like trying to like intercept passes. The defense been impressive. Harris, the offense hasn't been, but was tonight. 27 points, 12 of 14. 114.95, easier than the last time around. As we hear from Long Island native Tobias Harris of a season high 27.
You talked yesterday about a team needing to impose their will. Did you feel like you guys got to that tonight?
I definitely did. I think, we talked about having so many close games, and then tonight coming out in the beginning, kind of being neck and neck with them, and then obviously imposing our will, getting a big lead. Also sustaining the lead. They made a little run in the fourth quarter and was able to combat that. So that's a really good sign for us.
Watching this game, it really felt like the defense was leading to the offense, and especially in that first half. Is that what you guys were trying to get to?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously something that was working early on for us, and we just stuck with it. That created probably, 80% of our offense into good plays, into, highly good shots around the rim. So we just got to keep at that. Our defense was key tonight through the pick and roll and playing 2-on-2 with what they like to do. So we just got to stay at it.
You guys have been on the road quite a bit to start this season.
Yeah.
Next games, next 18, we've got 13 of them at home. Are you ready to get back at home?
Yeah, we're ready to get back to our court. We've been traveling, been on the road as part of the season, but we're ready to get back home in front of our fans and protect our home court.
Big night for Tobias Harris, who, good segue from Bogdanovich, another player, got to fit anywhere, do a bunch of things. The offense can do that, but the defense. And we wanted to see, Brian, how that was going to translate. Work in progress, new players, but what did we see tonight that you liked in that effort to get there?
Well, one of the things that you hear coaches, players, basketball aficionados all together talk about is being on a string. And so we'll take a look at this first one here. You see all the players, everybody's kind of boxes and elbows within, reach of their men on the defensive side. You want to be inside and be protecting the basket. So everything, how it works here, you see the post-up happening. Tobias Harris is fronting. So I guarantee you he's yelling front. In order for this to work, you have to have ball pressure. So you see Ben Simmons all over the ball handler there. Down below, you have Al Horford, who's got Tobias Harris's back in case they throw a lob pass, and James Ennis, who cracked down on the big. All right, on this next play here, Al Horford does his work early, gets Kevin Love off the box. So it goes from a post-up to kind of a short wing ISO. All right, everybody else is on the weak side. They all have eyes on him. He stays between Kevin Love and the basket. He goes up and contests and challenges without fouling. Now they're able to get out on the break. On this last one here, the size of Ben Simmons and the size of this team, there you always see a body when you start to try to penetrate and attack. You see Joel Embiid, that's what Colin Sexton sees. Now, even though Ben Simmons gets clipped on the screen right here, every coach wants the two people in the pick and roll to handle the pick and roll. When Colin Sexton comes off, he sees Joel Embiid, who doesn't let the roller roll behind him. The other two defenders are still on their men on the weak side, but Ben Simmons continues to channel him into the defense and gets a rear view challenge from behind. And that's something that this team is going to be good at because they have size at all those positions. Thibault, you talked about, Ben Simmons, Korkmaz, Jason Richardson, all these guys 6'6" and above who can switch defensively, show the versatility, and then you got Horford and Embiid inside. So they can play a bunch of different ways. They can trap you off pick and rolls. They can chase you and funnel you into the bigs. They can switch. So this is where we've been waiting for this team to start to come together on the defensive end, and tonight they were able to put a good defensive game.
And especially defensively for my coaches, effort has kind of become a skill set,
Yeah,
right, in
it
today's
is.
NBA. And, Sam, you're watching those plays, and that's what you saw, right? Horford and from Simmons, because when you got the talent, you should be able to do it, but how do you get them to buy in of doing it for 4 quarters?
Well, the thing they keep talking about want to compete and win a championship. We keep picking them as one of the top teams. As a matter of fact, I picked them to come out of the East, but it's got to be a mindset. It's got to be something that they talk about on a night-to-night, day-to-day basis, and it's got to be who they are. Look, they don't have the offense that some of these other teams that they're going to have to compete with. They don't have the scoring of a Houston, the scoring of even the Clippers. The Lakers, they can't score like those other teams do, but the thing that they can do, they can defend, they can shut down the paint, and they can get out and transition and score a lot of different ways. The thing I would like to see them do better, other than their defense and have that mindset of playing better D, is get out and run more, attack the basket, get to the free throw line more. They are relying way too much on jump shots, and they're not a jump shooting basketball team. When Jason Richardson is probably your best shooter, not scorer, but your best shooter. And nothing against him, but you're in trouble because Joel Embiid, he can make a three, but that's not what he does. We know Simmons, that's not what he does. And then you see these other players, they can make shots, but that's not who they are. They need to start attacking the basket, picking up their defensive rebound, and crashing the offensive glass because there's a lot of other things they can do to impact the game.
By the way, I did say before this version of the Warriors we talked about then, Sam went to another one with the other Jay Rich with Jason Richardson.
Oh.
We just got Barron texting me. He's like, but no. It's,
well, I'm getting old up
Hey,
here.
look, when you talk about shooters, though, it's interesting because I remember 2 years ago, they basically, for nothing, Bellinelli and Ilyasova come in, and it's like the last 2 years, like, wow, they could have used that. When you look at this team offensively, we were discussing Ben and what he does. You see all the skill set. How much is this year, you don't want to jump to the end, Brian, but if you're on this coaching staff, about really learning what with this group is the best way to handle Ben down the stretch of games in the playoffs?
Well, I think that we'll see him in the dunker spot a lot because, let's face it, he's not a threat to score from the outside, particularly from the three-point line. And so finding a place to put him where the other team is not going to just help off him and clog up the lane for everybody else and be able to come and double off of him, but where he can also, if they do leave him, that he can just catch and finish. So the dunker spot may be the best for him. But it's going to be tough. That's something that Brett Brown and his coaching staff is going to have to figure out because they paid this guy a lot of money, and he has to be a threat on the offense, carry the threat of a shot and to be able to score for this team to be successful and not just let teams, sag and help off of him.
One of the things you see because of the remnants of what you talk about with the lack of shooting, Embiid take too many threes sometimes. You saw in the first half of the game earlier this week, then dominate down low. Tobias Harris, 0 for 9, worst shooting night from 3 of his career in the last game they lost. More efficient tonight. He could do that, we know that, but how much do you want to see him being aggressive like he was tonight?
He's got
because
to.
he understands where to go, Sam.
He is that guy. Look, when you look at them, when they need a basket, it's 2 guys they can go to, Embiid and him. And the thing about it is, Tobias Harris, look, it's tough for him sometimes because when Joel Embiid is in the post, there's not a lot of space because Joel Embiid needs space to operate. And then when you look at Ben Simmons, because of his inability to shoot the ball, teams sag off him. So it's really tough for Harris. And that's my point. That's why they need to play more in transition because if they have to play against set defenses each and every night, teams are going to trap Joel Embiid on the post to get the ball out of his hand. And then they're going to close out short on a lot of their shooters because they know those guys are not great three-point shooters. So they need to start scoring in transition. All of those guys, Simmons, Embiid, Tobias Harris especially, in transition, they can rim run, post up, and play that type of basketball. It don't have to be all post-ups through sets.
And one of the other things, getting back to Simmons, you remember early days of Magic Johnson being in the post. Mm-hmm. I think that, he can play in the post going to score if he has a size advantage, especially if he's playing the point guard and he has these smaller guards on him. They can take advantage of that. And then when teams do try to come and double team him, if he's able to get good post position, then he'll be able to feed those other guys and open some things up by drawing to him and kicking it out.
In case, this is the thing. I know he's not a great three-point free throw shooter, but what he needs to understand, especially early in the game, the first 2 quarters, if he get those starters in foul trouble or he gets his team in the bonus, whether he's making free throws in the first or second quarter is irrelevant. He's putting the other team players, starters, in foul trouble, which makes them less aggressive. And to be short point, who's a better pass out the post than a 6'10" point guard? Right?
Yeah, all I need to say is, and of course, Queens is and St. John's is. Mark Jackson at his size could back dudes in the post with hand checking. I'm pretty sure Ben Simmons at his can find a way.
You hope.
To back in IT if you're listening. Sorry about that. Power rankings. Who fits up at the top? You should get in the know. NBA.com and check out John Schuman's power rankings. The Celtics at the top. Or will they still be? We take you looking for magic in Orlando. You got plenty of an 18-point lead. DJ Augustine, just a dislocated finger. He's a hockey player. They pumped it back in. He's back out on the floor. Fultz, 6 of 6 first half. Clifford and company getting enough offensively, and the Wizards not so much, although they did get the 10,000th point in the career of Bradley Beal. The only unfortunate part, B. Shaw, is that defensively they've given up about 10,000 points, and we're 20 games into the season. They have had an issue on the defensive end.
So true, so true. Defense is all about willpower and effort.
Bertans, no problems hitting threes. Still, doesn't matter what he's wearing or where he's playing. Sam for the Magic to make the playoffs last year, and people should remember competitive. Remember the beginning of that series. So you've got fighters there, and you've got probably the culture you want to get to that point. Question is, how much do you need the growth of Gordon, Isaac, and now Bamba, the young talent, to that next level this year?
Well, you need all those guys to continue to get better. And again, we're not going to see how good this Orlando Magic team could really be, at least for another year or two, because, again, it's taking these young guys time to grow. But from listening to the rumor mill, these guys seem like Orlando is going to be actively in that trade market before trade deadline, because I think for them to make that next step, they need to add an established veteran player that can score the basketball.
Yeah, I would agree. And the other thing I think that they need to do is they need to figure out exactly what Aaron Gordon is.
Yeah.
You know, they play him a lot at the three because of the length that they have. I mean, they have Isaac, they have Bamba, they have Vucevic, have all these guys. And so is he? I don't think he's a three. I think his best position is a four, and I think you can slide him to the five if you're playing small. So I think that they have to figure out what exactly he is and how they're going to use him more effectively.
I feel like similarly to the way the Knicks were put together, Orlando thought they were playing poker. So if we have like 5 aces, all 6'9", 6'10", who do the same, this must be, no.
Well, Case, in theory, it works. In Kevin Durant's the reason for all that, because everybody wants the next Kevin Durant,
right.
6'11" guy, skill, that can play 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, good luck with that. You can find them when you create them on NBA 2K. Meanwhile, 9-point lead Magic will keep you closer. We walk over to Memphis, and even though we know that Ja has had quite the campaign, there are guards in this game on the other side who can score big time. Jamal Murray having 39 points, Sam.
Well, he's showing the rookie that, hey, I've been here for a little while longer than you have, Rook.
And they have a multitude of guards who, at any time, your turn, and they get hot. And unfortunately, defense not as hot again. Story here. Lead 32 as we go live. The Grindhouse.
Knocked away. Picked up by Kyle. Kyle Anderson able to ring the bell. His second field goal of the game.
Really found a comfort zone with that little mid-range jump shot this season.
Monte Morris. An offensive foul. Push off.
Go ahead and get your towel on. Relax, sit back, get your feet up. And allow these Grizzlies an opportunity to make an amazing comeback.
Another one of those odd fly a long way and play one game trips.
I'm glad that it's somebody else, not just the Grizzlies, who had the one game against the Lakers, a one-game trip that we had earlier this season.
Porter commits his second foul. John Morant on the bench. Rob Fisher on the microphone.
Well, head coach Michael Malone talking about John Morant before the game, called him a heck of a player. Said very early in the season, winning 3 in a row, he was responsible for a lot of it. And right now, you'd have to say he's the odds-on favorite to win the Rookie of the Year. He can get his own shot, get to the rim, scores 12 points a night in the paint, puts a lot of pressure on your defense. And if you go under and dare him to shoot, he can shoot as well. He's a heck of a young talent who's only going to get better. because the accolades just keep coming in for Ja.
Hernan Gomez continues to fire away. 15th triple for Denver. Anthony Melton is in also for the first time today. So the Grizzlies, everybody that they have healthy has seen the floor today.
We talked about the Grizzlies wanting to have a fast break advantage in this game. It has been a disadvantage. 29-6, the Nuggets advantage.
And again, another ball secure game. Here's the boatload of the rim in. Another ball secure game by Denver. They're going to call timeout anyway here, leading 115-84. Only 7 turnovers for Denver, 2 here in the second half.
Mike Malone's going to keep coaching.
He's going to keep coaching. He does not give up.
All right, happy belated. I saw a few days ago our buddy Brevin Knighty, you heard there. And yeah, 7 turnovers from the Nuggets and a 30-point lead. It's been a good night for the Denver side. Murray's got 39. But how about from outside to posterizing inside? It's next. The list is coming. Bradley Beal already 10,000th point tonight of his career, but about to change that number.
That's good.
Wizards cutting this thing all the way down to 4, which means we got a crunch time alert. Crunched it over at Taco Bell. Crunching Tums, watching this lead dissipate. Steve Clifford, we go out there live.
Tim's going to get the ball back. He's called for traveling.
Let's watch as he's coming around. There's a hit right
one
there.
Foul. There's another
the second foul.
And then traveling. My goodness. Washington only down by 4. Beal for 3 again. Good again. It's a 1-point game. 1 minute left. 117 to 116. Markelle Fultz to the front court. Aaron Gordon.
There we go. That'll put Vooch on the line right there. Thomas Bryant getting a little too aggressive.
Thomas Bryant picks up the personal. Let's see.
A little cross screen for Vooch and then just keeps pushing and pushing. You gotta let the post player establish his position.
Vooch calmly knocks in the first of 2. But the Wizards have suddenly absolutely caught fire from beyond the 3-point line.
And Bradley Beal, I think it was about, 3 or 4 minutes ago we were talking about Beal having a subpar night.
Yeah, 28 of 21 at the
and
time.
that's how quickly things change.
2 big free throws by Vucevic. Magic lead is 3 with 48.2 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's 119-116 Magic.
All right, so Magic lead down to 3, and you would have figured needed Magic to cut it that low. Give the Wizards credit, because clearly there's been some defense, too.
We're going to give the officials a little credit.
And I was going to say, by the way, that was the mandated 7 seconds before in his NBA TV. The 2 coaches on set blame everything on the officials.
Absolutely.
Either that or bad defense. When you look at Beal, it's like the tale of 2 teams, right? One team, I don't know who I go to in that spot. The other team, not really as much of a question of where they're going to go, and Beal hot here in the fourth.
For sure. You know, and he picked it up. You heard the announcer say that he was having a subpar night so far, but you can't leave him open like that, coming down the 3-point line. All he has to do is see the ball go in one time. He continues to move off the ball, setting himself up to come off here. He sets his man up, gets a nice little screen, little pin down screen. So he's single-handedly bringing this Washington Wizards team.
And be sure, when you watch those clips, the thing that drives us crazy is that they're running all those plays against Vucevic, all right? And he's back. What do you think gonna happen if that big guy sets a good screen? Bradley Beal coming off wide open. These bigs got to be up.
Who will be big in this spot offensively? Do they go to Ross, go Vucevic? You guard play, Augustine back in. We see what Mr. Clifford has drawn up when the Magic get it back. Let's go Wizards.
Bounce, so important.
They're trying to get it to Beal. They do. Vucevic is there. Beal on the drive, throws it out top. Batted by Fultz. Stolen by Markelle. He stuffs it in. And a foul.
Baby.
A signature play by Markelle Fultz.
We just talked about it, David. We had to make a defensive play, and how about the one Markelle makes? And then add a little insult to injury. Woo!
Wow, this crowd is just buzzing here. After a sensational play by Fultz and a big-time finish with the dunk.
Boy, how about the tip and able to control that?
He's got a new career high tonight in his 46th NBA game. And Fultz gives the Magic a cushion of 6 points. 36 seconds left. Good defense there, too, on Beal to get him to pass the ball. Thomas Bryant on the attack.
So much attention to Bradley Beal, kind of showing hard on him.
4-point game. Fournier double teamed and a foul is called this time. Bradley Beal
being very aggressive. That puts a very good free throw shooter at the line.
His fourth penalty situation.
That's 4 fouls on Beal. Only 24 seconds left. Fournier having another solid night. 24 points in the game.
How about that assist, David? Look at that assist column. Evan with 9 assists.
Career high in assist is 10. 1 shy. Second one is good. Beal had to pass it. Bryant gives it back to him. The shot by Beal, not this time. Big rebound, Aaron Gordon.
He's went up and got that one.
Yes. And he is fouled by Thomas with 10.8 left. But until Beal missed that 3, you could not exhale here at the Amway Center.
No, look at him. He's disappointed in himself. As hot as he's been, he thought that was down. Look at that line he's got tonight. 5 of 10 from behind the arc. He has been sensational in his fourth quarter.
Yep. Magic, though, rising to the occasion. Huge defensive play and then dunked by Markelle Fultz. Gordon likely puts it away with a pair of free throws. It's a 7-point game. Just under 11 seconds left.
(125-118), 7-point lead. Magic, it is a Sunday. You've been talking about your Cowboys. You know about time of possession.
We won today.
Don't you?
That's all I know.
I would have thought if in a Rockets jersey, you kind of understand pass up a layup and throw out for 3. You want to take me through, and Bradley's had a great game, the decision there.
Well, me and B, listen here, look, that's a good attempted pass if it's 8-9 seconds to go in the game. But it's 40 seconds to go in the game, and it's a 3-point game, and you got a wide open layup in your Bradley Beal. You don't need a 3, right? Because the worst that happens, if they come down and they make a 2, it's still a 1-possession game. And so you, by making that layup, B, you put yourself in position to put all the pressure back on Orlando now, because if you can get a stop, not only can you win the game, but you can take the lead.
And you don't have to take a 3. You can take a 2. You can hit a free throw, you know, with it being a 1-point game. And it's something that you don't expect to see from a veteran player like Bradley Beal in that situation, which we also talked about during that timeout prior to that. You got to remind your team that if there's an open 3, we can take it. But if it's a 2, there's enough time where we can take the 2 and still have time to win the game.
Give Fultz credit, gets the play, the easy bucket, 19, a career high.
Inbounds pass. Bradley Beal. Cut off by Vucevic. 3-point shot by Miles is good. C.J. Miles with 6 threes tonight. And that's going to do it. 125-121. Wildly entertaining Sunday night in the NBA. Magic get the victory. And a 4-1 homestand. Boy, it took a total team effort to get this one. Magic holding off the Beal-led Washington Wizards. That man right there, Markelle Fultz, only 21 years old, came up with the big play of the night. Let's check in with Dante Marchitelli.
Thank you, David. Yeah, this guy was tremendous. Had to hold your breath there down the stretch. That was a tight basketball game. You guys made the plays you had to. Just take us through the final few minutes there.
Yeah, they were making some tough shots. Made a lot of threes. But we stuck with it. We made plays on the offensive end as well. In the last 45 seconds, minute, we were able to get 2-3 shots in a row and close the game out. But a lot of credit to them. They fought until the end. We had a big lead. We didn't hold on to it. Now we have to do a better job with that. But it's good to get a win. Finish this homestand with 3 wins in a row, 4-1. It's good before we go on the road trip.
Yeah, just touch on that. I know it's important to protect this home floor, and you did that, picking up 4 out of 5 wins here.
No, it was important for us to defend home court. I know we kind of dig ourselves a little bit of a hole before we started this homestand, but we responded in a great way. 4-1, we're back to one game under 500, so we have a very tough road trip ahead of us. So if we play well, we can get some wins there and make our record better. So we just have to keep working, and we're getting better each day, and we have to keep it up.
Well, Vooch, you punished them all night. You made 9 of your first 11 shots. Teammates were finding you. You went to work inside out. Just touch on your all-around performance.
I was just being able to play off my teammates. My first few buckets were just easy inside points. Just under the paint, under the rim, wide open, and I made a 3. Then you get going. But whenever I get easy buckets like that inside, playing off my teammates gets me going, and I was able to stay aggressive throughout the whole game.
We lost DJ for a bit. We lost MCW. Were you offering to play backup point if needed tonight, Booth?
Well, we might have had to. We don't really have many options at the point guard, so I might have had to.
How about Markelle, though, honestly? How about he continues to improve, shed that rust off, and he was pretty special for you tonight?
Yeah, he played well tonight. Made a big play towards the end. Got a steal and N1 dunk. It's going to take him time. Trying to get back 100% and feel comfortable out there all the way. And when you don't play for 2 years, it's hard. It's not easy. And he's getting better each day. He's getting to know us, and we're getting to know him, and building our chemistry. So he's going to be a huge piece for us.
All right, well, enjoy this one. We'll see you in a couple days. So head out on that road trip.
All right.
Vooch was outstanding.
That's 3 straight wins for Vooch and the Magic. He had 30 and 17. But again, congrats to Markelle Fultz, 45 games into his career. A lot of ups and downs, obviously, but a career high with 19. We have much more to come on Game Time Live. More Pelicans playing. A lot of their young kids are learning from this old vet, J.J. Redick. All the Alexander Walker, by the way, relatives are also pretty good, if you haven't noticed, as he's had a big game as well. They got a lot of young players who will now, Brian, get time they wouldn't have had, obviously, if Zion and company were there.
And that'll help them down the line. As the season progresses, these guys getting some experience that they wouldn't have been able to get without these injuries. And so, valuable time for them to step up and get these reps.
I remember saying to Griff before this, and I think he was thinking at 17. This is one of those kids, not just because he's related to Shea, but you watch him in college. Sam didn't really give raw talent, but the length, just like his cousin, get in the way of everything defensively. Good player. As we go out live to New Orleans, and it's an 8-point advantage with just over 10 to go in the third.
Right. Although the one game was really close, and still Steph Curry hit that corner 3. Thank you very little. Now 2 minutes gone by. Pels by 9. Draymond Green giving up the dribble. They've got a mismatch, though. And it's going to be Burks. That's why you want him outside. He knows. He wants to get inside. He's more of an inside guy than outside. Mid-range to the rim. And that just grazed the right side of the rim.
Again, that's 3 really good defensive possessions in a row right there.
Now Holiday, pick and roll. Good extra pass. Redick. And he got contact. Let's see if he's inside the arc or not.
JJ is so good at that. He is so good at that. Showing the ball and getting people to bite on it. It's amazing how many guys that he gets with that. Because it's, you tell kids at basketball camp all the time, everybody wants to block shots. That's what everybody wants to do. And J.J. Redick understands that.
9:41 left. Have they determined? I thought it was 3.
We'll keep you posted. Eric Paschal, I guess we just get used to anything Jay Wright touches. They find Arcadia everywhere. from Nova. He's got 16, not, again, the Warriors you're used to. But earlier tonight, forget 16, how about 19? A career high, including a huge steal late, get in the way of a pass from Bradley Beal, the most important defensive possession, go the other way easy, and then for dessert, a conversation with us via Arena Link with Markelle Fultz. Kind enough to join us. Markelle, first of all, appreciate you coming on with us. Congratulations. I'll start with that possession. Take us through defensively what's said beforehand. You know, obviously, how hot Bradley Beal has been, and then through getting in the lane there defensively.
Yeah, we just talked about, they drive to the rim, let them get the layup, don't give up any threes. They were pretty hot towards the end from the three-point line, so I tried to fan out, and I seen them about to pass it. I see IT, and I just tipped the ball and went to go get it.
Markelle, Brian Shaw here. Just wanted to ask you a quick question. First of all, I like the fact that you're wearing number 20. I wore that number. That's special to me. Gary Payton, who I grew up with, wore that number as well, so I think you're wearing it well. I'm happy, for your success this season. You're starting to play better and better. Question for you. I don't think that you ever lost your confidence in terms of your skill set. Do you have your confidence in terms of your physical ability and the things that you weren't able to do physically that you're able to do now, and is that why your play is starting to show that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I never lost confidence, like you said, and I'm just feeling better. I took the time this summer to rehab and get everything right physically, and each game out there, I'm feeling more and more better, and it's just showing in my play, and I think I'm just going to keep going.
Markelle, Sam Mitchell here. Look, I can't remember in the past 15 years that a young player game has been scrutinized and broken apart and analyzed like yours. How did you keep yourself mentally focused and focus on the things that you needed to do? One, to get healthy, and two, to keep working on your game so you could show all the naysayers how talented you really are in this game.
One, I never doubted myself because the man above God, I always believe in him. And then two, I just worked extremely hard. I've been doubted my whole life, since high school, middle school, growing up. And I just know hard work would always get you to where you want to go. So, I stayed with it, and I just keep working hard.
We talk about Markelle, we're chatting with Markelle Fultz, confidence, but I want to ask about the confidence the rest of this team has had. Organization goes and says, you know what? We want to bring you on board. They're a playoff team last year. Now you get an opportunity to really kind of from day one, you kind of envelop yourself in the culture. You could tell that they are pushing for you. How much has that helped this process first couple of months in?
Man, it makes everything better. As soon as I got here, everybody was here with open arms, but not babying me, just wanted me to get healthy so I can help the team. Everybody want to win, so, just pushing me to get better on the court and then also being there to support me, And I think it's huge. I think it shows when we're out there playing.
Markelle, appreciate it, man. Congratulations. All the success in the world the rest of the way. And
congratulations, young fella. Good game.
Man, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, there's Markelle Fultz, and 19 points and a career high. But I want to ask you about that because you guys know that. Everybody knows, right? So when you come into a new team, look, it's human element. You got guys who are having a conversation now. It's group texts that teams have. You guys know that. Probably on some. He's laughing. He's on 7, probably. But, can the guy shoot? What was the problem? How about the way that they've handled it, and how much does it tell you that they've handled it the right way when you see that he's starting to feel himself a little bit with the confidence, B?
Well, I think that he indicated it right there in the interview. He said they didn't treat him like a baby when he got there. They kind of threw him in the fire and let him, make his own way. And you're going to endure the comments, from teammates, from naysayers, on the outside. People are going to say what they're going to say. And I'm sure he had teammates that, they're watching him shoot and see the little hitch in his shot, and what have you. But he seems to have been able to block all that out now and, realize that I was the number 1 pick in the draft, and I was that for a reason. And so to just be able to stay back, take a step back and concentrate on doing the things that made him the overall number 1 pick. And he's doing that now. And even, you hear a knock on him about three-point shooting. Well, he was 2 for 3 from 3 tonight, so obviously his confidence in that area is getting better. And the more he plays, the better he's going to get.
Yeah, plus you know this, you don't even have to go to Twitter to have everybody be an expert on your shot, right? Everybody's sitting there, your college coach, your high school this, your buddy. Not your shot, Sam, but Markelle. So let's look at the shot chart and take a look at it, Mr. Mitchell, down on the end, because we saw him get some easy buckets, but how much for a player just even kind of seeing yourself have it go in where it's not supposed to, then even into practice the next day make you feel different?
Case, it don't matter whether it's a free throw or a layup or if you bounce it off the floor and that ball go in. Every time that ball goes through the net, it breeds confidence. And the thing for Markelle, when you watch the video, you see him come off those screens, and he shoots, right now he's shooting kind of a set, load-up three-point shot, but that's okay because teams right now are going under the screen. So he don't have to rush his shot because they're going to give him that shot. And Bree Shaw said it. If he just willing to take it, I'm telling you, coaches are not going to let guys just stand back there and shoot shots because the fact that he can take it to the basket and score in the paint, when he comes off those screens, if guys keep going under the screen, take your time, line them up. If you knock down 1 or 2 a game, that's all it takes because his ability to get to the rim and then transition, that's what the Orlando Magic right now need from him because they don't have a guy that can push the rock and get into the paint and finish.
Yeah, and even though I know today DJ's finger being dislocated, if you missed it, dislocated his pinky, he did come back in. You can set up some minutes.
At some point, DJ need to be the
No,
guy.
of course.
Yeah, they're not going to get to where they really want to go unless Markelle Fultz starts playing the way they all hope he can.
But you think about this, and I brought it up as the Clippers go last year as an example. When Pat Bev is on you every day and you're Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's a reason why you're 22.6 assists, no turnovers in a game in the playoffs against the Warriors because nothing's going to be as hard as that. Augustine's a guy who's always going to play hard, you really had to grind for those opportunities. We talked about the game 1 in the playoffs last year, really a shining moment for his career. So it's probably a good way for him to see what work, Brian, he needs to put in behind the scenes to get to where he wants to go.
Well, for sure. And you also have to take this into consideration. This is his first time playing. You know, this is his 3rd year in the league, I believe. But his first time actually being out there on the floor and actually being in game situations and playing. And the shooting aspect for Fultz actually can work out in his favor. The fact that he's labeled as a non-shooter, that means he's going to, much to what Sam talked about, it's going to give you open shots. If you come into the league as a J.J. Redick, guys like that are known snipers from the outside, ask them how difficult it is to get the kind of looks that Markelle Fultz is getting right now. And so when they think about double teaming maybe Vucevic or somebody like that, if they have it going, who are they going to double team off? They're going to double team off of him. And now he has to be able to step up and hit an open shot, which he's more than capable of doing.
If you're Markelle, keep letting them think you can't shoot.
That's right.
Just knock down 2 threes a night. Right. You're only taking 3 or 4.
So this was all a big hustle.
Hey, man, look, he can literally use that to his advantage. He can because players, I'm telling you, they want to go over that screen, go under that screen. They don't want to fight over that screen. And bigs don't want to come up. They want to stay back.
That's right.
Anthony Davis, he could shoot the rock, take it inside, really do whatever he wants with it. And always will get it in the right spot. LeBron leading the world in assists. The Lakers, they've been red hot since day one. They better guard Trey at half court tonight. The best of the very best. Get over at NBA.com/video. Daily, weekly, top plays. Right now, top 10 from this week in the NBA.
Trez up high, blocked by Boucher. Clippers can still restore the...
I like what you're saying.
Oh, my goodness. Ja Morant. Oh, my goodness. How do you do? What did we just see?
How did he do that?
Harden lob for Chandler! Exclamation point!
Seven. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great step! And then he hammers it home! Broke his ankles and pounds it for 2. What a play!
And how about the finish?
Morant down the lane, lays it up, and in! Holy cow! With 0.7 of a second, Ja Morant! Jokic putting it on the deck against Towns. Wild shot by Jokic. Oh, are you kidding? Wow.
2.4.
Wow. Jokic throwing up
A wild shot.
He threw that between Rubio's legs.
Little nutmeg and 5 quick points, and looking to make it 6 with the and 1.
Wow. That's all I got to say is wow.
They give it to Washington. Graham goes backdoor. Graham puts up a 3. Oh, it's good. It's good. And Charlotte takes the lead with 2.1 remaining. We shoot 38% from downtown. Here comes LBJ. Look out.
Oh, the crowd on their feet. That's what they came to see. If nothing else happens, they're happy now.
It's official. Malik Monk, how do you do?
Well, if you're into net rating, and the net is kind of important in this game, how about 8.8 ahead of the Bucks, the Lakers? The Suns have been very good this year, and the Heat off to a great start as well. They've lost Gordon Hayward. They already didn't have Kyrie. How is it all going to feel? It's fit pretty well for the Celtics, at least until Sunday. Tatum and the C's looking for 11 in a row. But Buddy Ball on Sundays, late Buddy Ryan knew this, always
Said Buddy don't
going to be difficult. Speaking of defense, the strip transition finish. Buddy Hield 16, B. Shaw 7 of 11 in the first half.
And that looks good. He's finally, he's earning that money that he's just.
Yes, he is.
And getting better as we go. Jaylen Brown. We know he can hit buckets, does a little bit of everything, gets the 3, and then Sam Kemba's been a difference maker.
Yeah, Kemba's in that MVP talk, too. Kemba Walker is kept carrying this Boston team to the best record in the NBA.
Celtics, more offense. Lead 2, Tatum, an extra swing from Smart. It was Smart. Lead 5 for the Celtics, but Buddy Hield. Did you say mid-range? Is that really DeMar DeRozan offense now for the Kings?
Way to go, Casey. You do watch a little basketball.
A little bit. I've, there's enough time during a baseball game to do a lot of things. Daniel Tice with the slam, lead 1, 99-98. Lead 1, Campbell, a miss, Smart. How about Rashawn
Why
Holmes?
didn't he kick that out, B-Show? You get an offensive rebound like that, kick it out or call a timeout. You don't have to shoot it. Look at it. And he knows it.
Yeah, he wanted to be
He should have kicked it out. Yep.
Made the first, knocks down the second, and then the Celtics. Last chance.
He got a good look.
Oh!
Little Mike Conley-like finger roll.
It hung on the rim. Oh, it looked like it was going to fall. Look at that. Oh!
Heartbreak.
That's how the game works, right? Bounces 9 more times, goes in. You're Allen Houston. Here's $100 million. Sacramento 100-99 over Boston gets the victory. They had 110 straight, and road warriors they were, even with the injuries. When you look at where they are on this road trip for the Boston Celtics, Buddy Hield, though, no place like home for him.
What did it take for you guys to be able to get this done?
First of all, glory to God. Without him, it's not possible for us. But we definitely need a win. We had a tough one in LA. And thank God we were able to pull this one through. It was a great team, Marcus took a good look at it. Our game plan is run up the line, make a finish. Unfortunately, he came out, so thank God for this win.
Buddy, we're going to throw out the month of October. We don't care about that anymore. What is happening in November is you guys have 2 losses to the defending champions and the best team in the West by a combined 6 points, and then you beat the best record in the league with Boston. Yeah. What has been the biggest difference this month?
Staying locked in and staying focused. We start off with, we know what we're capable of doing. We have a great coaching staff behind us, great management. And once we take one game at a time and try to get back over 500 and wait till our point guard gets back, and we'll be fine.
You mentioned De'Aaron being out, Bagley hopefully returning soon. You guys have been able to do this shorthanded. What kind of hope does that give you guys in terms of what your potential is come April?
It's always next man up. How you look at the NBA, we all professionals, we all got a job. We got to go there and do our job. So we got to stay focused, stay locked in, and be ready for every challenge every night.
Well, did his job, he did. We'll talk Buddy in a second. Season high 35 and 7 threes. For the Celtics, take care of this version of Golden State. Then it gets incrementally tougher. Sacramento almost beats the Lakers. Then they knock off Boston. You got Phoenix In Phoenix, no slouch this year, and then the Clippers in Denver, not so much either. So let's talk about it, because as coaches, you know this. I mean, everybody can rally around, but when somebody is playing as well as Gordon Hayward, and it's such a sad thing to see, he really was playing great basketball, was playing, and he take those points off, the other things he does, now you're asking more. Are we asking too much offensively, maybe, of the rest of what they have on the team?
No, I don't know that we consider it asking too much. But, you know, when you do take away that, and Gordon Hayward was playing incredibly well before his injury, it is tough to make that up. But, you know, they have enough young guys who have experience that are capable of stepping up and filling that void that Gordon Hayward left with Jaylen Brown, with Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, even though he didn't play that well today. You know, those guys are capable of doing some things out there on the floor. You know, the constant has to be on the defensive end. And maybe they're a little bit worn out, a little bit weary. You know, you saw when they played Golden State, they won 105-100 against, as you called it, this version of Golden State, and you would have expected them to go in there and blow them out. So, you know, it's taking its toll a little bit, but I still think that they're capable of sustaining until they get the help back.
You mentioned the names you did, and just because easy segue, because we opened this show, Game Time Live tonight, talking about and watching what the Magic were doing, and Markelle Fultz. You think of Tatum. And I go back to remember sitting right here for the game in Game 7. Mano a mano. Big shot LeBron one end, Sam. Big shot from Tatum the other. Last year, we didn't see as demonstrative. Now you expect, okay, Gordon out. Maybe this is the time we kind of get back. Are you seeing enough of that? What's keeping us from getting the guy that it seems like we really saw the height of in terms of that aggression offensively late in the playoffs 2 years ago?
Well, just look, you got better players around him. You got Gordon playing well now. You got Brown. Look, the ball has to be shared. He's not on a team where he could dominate the basketball. Obviously, this young man is super talented, and I think he could be a 22 to 25-point scorer in this league. But the team is not built that way. When you look at this Boston Celtics team and you look at the pieces that they have 3 guys that can flat out score the basketball. Now, to be sure, without Gordon Hayward, yeah, they're going to miss him, but there's just more shots for some of these other young guys. They're not going to cry about that. But again, he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to have his moments. But it's just hard when you have that much young talent. All those guys have to touch the ball, because be sure I'll tell you, the only way to keep your defense moving and thumping and humping the way it is that ball moving. If a player can touch the ball on the offensive end, he's going to be more focused and more energized on the defensive end. And that's the thing that the Celtics have to keep doing. Keep pushing the rock. Keep moving the rock, because it's going to pay dividends on the other end.
And thumping we'll stay with. On the Buddy family show. Buddy Hield, Sunday dinners. Buddy Hield, a lot of talk about Swipe the Fox, such a growth from year 1 to year 2. You can tell the work he put in. And it seemed like maybe because of that, people not slighted, but didn't pay as much attention, put a spotlight on the work Buddy Hield did year to year. And it looks like even more so a better player now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's at a point where the game is starting to slow down a little bit for him. You got to remember that they brought in a new coach in Luke Walton, along with Igor, who's doing their offense. And so, you know, just getting used to the nuances of this offensive system and how they're doing things, you know, it took a little while. And then he signed a big contract, so there's a lot of expectation that comes along with that. But I think now he's kind of settled into it. You know, we saw them talk about, let's throw out the month of October. The team is playing a lot better, and it correlates with Buddy Hield playing a lot better and knocking down shots. And so, you know, this team, you know, they're 5-7 now, but look out, they're trending in the right direction, and they're missing Swipe the Fox and Marvin Bagley. So, you know, they're getting a lot done with less personnel right now.
Yeah, that's clearly a lot of the offense. And, Sam, if you're looking defensively where you'd pay attention, but Bogey is drawing a lot of attention. And he's making everybody else, I think, better, allowing Buddy to kind of do his thing. Such an underrated player, size where he could be so versatile, and really all the Bogdanoviches, the other one had a big game-winning three-pointer this week, have done well. But maybe we've missed that this is a budding star, too, to use the pun of Buddy here.
Well, I think for the average fan, they may not know who he is, but we in basketball, absolutely. And then think about the Sacramento Kings definitely know how good this young man is. When you watch him play, he's kind of like a Swiss utility knife. He can do a lot of things. Look at him right here in transition, just moving the ball. basketball, and when he gets his feet set, he can flat out shoot the basketball. But the thing that separates him from a lot of other players is his playmaking ability and his ability to make his teammates better. Look at this coming off that screen, just reading the defense. Again, knocking down shots. But again, are y'all going to show some clips this young man doing? We know he can do this. Come off this screen, read the defense. Look at that. Step right into a shot. And again, watch him again here, coming off the screen, reading the defense, moving without the ball, and just watch. This is what you love as a basketball coach. Look at him read the defense, attacks down here, fadeaway jump shot from the corner. So when you watch him, they're just showing the things that he does offensively. Like we all love to see guys score, but the thing, B-Shaw, that separates him when he has the ball in his hand, he makes his teammates better. He's smart. He's another guy on the floor that can pass and shoot and make guys better. And when you have him out there with Fox and you have him out there with Belly, Nemanja, now you got a really pass and shooting basketball team.
That's right.
You know, the other thing, too, is defensively, he's got very active hands. And even though, you know, we look at him and you talk about different spots because of the size, a lot of times when guys get extra possessions, we don't look at the stats for that. And we think of big men on the boards. He's one of those guys who creates those diving on the ball, making a smart play, things Marcus Smart does, maybe not with the same ferocity. And it sets a culture, doesn't it, for the rest of the team? He's one of those guys. He seems to be working as hard as anybody on the floor nightly, too.
He does. And the one thing that I notice about him is that it seems that his teammates love playing with him out there on the floor. You know, he's always smiling, you know, making plays, as Sam alluded to. And he's in the right position. He's in the right place at the right time. So you can not be the fastest, most athletic guy, but because your positioning is good, you still find yourself around the ball all the time. And he seems to be one of those types of players.
Well, who is going to get the ball at the right time late in the season for the Sixers? You know you're good when we're having those kind of conversations. Even tonight we were. Before this show, Tobias Harris, so he'd like it this close the way he shot lately, but we'll see what happened tonight. 7 over the Dubs-ish with 9+ to go.
Shot clock considerations. It'll be Bowman.
It's a great battle by Ejuan Moore.
Yeah.
Keeping Spellman off the glass.
Bell's held this team to 37% shooting overall. Pels have not held the team this year to under 40% shooting. It'll be Holiday filling it up. Hard off the heel. And a good job by Kenrich Williams. Took Burks right out of the play. That's a good box out to 25 feet away.
It's a great time to attack.
Andrew did that. That's the third team foul. Who gets into the bonus first in the fourth? 9 minutes to play. So coming on the side. And Draymond Green about to check back into the game.
Jackson Hayes.
And this is what Golden State did to the Celtics. Celtics shot only 41%.
Right.
The Golden State works hard. And in that game, both teams shot 41%. Right now, the Pels at 36%. Warriors at 37%. Difference in the game, Pels have 15 threes compared to 7 threes. For the Warriors, now the pressure by Bowman. Holiday loses him. And how about the left hand? It'll stay. 83-74. You wanted an imprint on a game. Drew's up to 16 with 7 dimes and 6 boards.
Never worried about Drew Holiday. I'm never worried about him. Even keel, and he leads by example.
Spellman. Backdoor taken away. Good job by Ejuan Moore on Draymond Green. Pressure is there.
Yes, it is. Really good again.
And you put him into a bad shot. Good job by Jackson Hayes not fouling Marquise Chris.
Right, and Nikhil Alexander-Walker getting up on the wing, denying, making it tough. Like sometimes it's just the little things that are the difference. Again, Drew can get this almost anytime he wants to. That's a very, very difficult shot, switching over to the left hand.
He loves that left.
That's hard. And him and Nikhil Alexander-Walker, they both have that talent. They're ambidextrous around the rim.
I saw Jameis Winston throw a pass with his left hand for a first down today. That was one of the few completions. Great day for the Saints. Drew, fall away time, mid-range.
Play through your star.
You got it,
Play through your star.
85-74. So Holiday filling it up. He's got 18 now. And jumps the Bowman route. Going to be Chris on the spin. And they're going to call Ejuan Moore on the reach. A couple of free throws coming up from Marquise Chris.
It is the Pels with an 11-point advantage. 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Drew Holiday, 7-20, obviously not the greatest, but some big shots, including one in the lane there. Seen him aggressive, but J.J. Redick is pretty much setting things up from the outside has been the difference from the three-point line where they perform well. And we're not even looking at the Pelicans near, Brian, what they could be. Despite the fact that they are so young and you're talking about so many picks, it would be interesting to see what they could do and what kind of test they'd be for teams when they get full throttle.
Yeah, and early on in the season, when it was just Zion out, they were in, like the first 3 or 4 games, they were in those games, had an opportunity to win at the end of the games. They were competing at a high level, but just didn't have enough wherewithal to finish those games off. And so it is going to be interesting to see the part of their team that I call the Lakers West.
Yes.
Or Lakers South, I should say. How they're going to do, especially when they get Zion back, Brandon Ingram ball. They're losing the heart of their team right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, everything else has gone south for the team that we're usually seeing at the top of the West. In the Warriors, I was looking at the team and I'm thinking, take Draymond off the floor. You could play them against Duke. You got so many young players. Poole just out of Michigan and guys getting a chance. Pascal has made the most of that. So, hey, look, door opens. You got to go knock that thing down and push it. And they've had a couple of players step up and really give them an opportunity offensively.
Casey, and I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but this is another case of the rich getting richer. If you think about it, they know they're getting their horses back at some point. They know that. But also, this is what they know. They're developing their bench right now as we speak. They're going to find a starter out of this group of young players, and they're going to find 3 or 4 bench guys. These guys got 82 games to learn how to play NBA basketball and integrate themselves in Steve Kerr's system. Once that happens and the draft comes around, now you're going to get a high pick that goes with those guys when they come back. Now look at this team. This team is 1 pick away from being loaded again if they get the right pick when that lottery ball falls. So when you look at the Golden State Warriors, yeah, it's tough. But how bad can it be, B? You've been to 5 straight finals. You got 3 championship rings. Your 2 best players are out right now. You're struggling. You're going to have the worst record in the league. You get those guys back next year healthy, and you may have the number 1 pick to drop down with this group. Man, think about it. That is luck. It really is.
Yeah, when you say how bad could it be, are you Draymond or are you a fan? A fan, new building, I'll go anyway. Draymond, this is a little more of a different time for him on the floor than he's used to with this team.
It is, but I think after you sign a 4-year, $100 million contract, it's a little bit easier
I
to
wouldn't
swallow.
know, but the 3 of us, we're all willing.
None of us would know.
Yeah, we're all willing.
But, so I think they all know, as Sam alluded to, that they are all coming back at some point. The other thing is that the young players that are playing now are creating value for themselves, as they get more experience. And so when you look at the moves that they can make down the line, if they want to package one or 2 of these young guys with somebody else to get that mega star, the experience that they're getting and the being seen now and what they can do is only going to help them down the line. And so it's a different kind of luck, and it's a luck that you have to have faith that it's going to turn out the way it is, down the line. But, under the circumstances, 5 straight championships, a new finals, I should say, appearances, a new building, and their young guys getting some valuable experience that they wouldn't have gotten if all these guys wouldn't have been injured. And so, for Steve Kerr, the first opportunity, I'm not going to knock his coaching, but his first opportunity really having to coach under these circumstances.
He was just managing the last 5 years, just managing this team on its way to NBA Finals. Right. Now he's developing. He's coaching. These guys are hanging on their word. Before, it was like, Katie, where do you like the ball? I want to get you the ball in this spot, kind of. And again, that's not easy. The X's and O's part may be easy, but now you're dealing with all the other stuff. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. When you're dealing with those personalities, that's what drains you. It's not the X's and O's. That's easy. It's dealing with those personalities and keeping them on the same page.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, being on the same page 2 weeks from now or whenever it is, when Russell gets back, they need him to play well so they can figure out whether or not that can help them moving forward, move a piece and add for the future. We've got more coming as we move forward here on Game Time. The future is now for the Hawks. It would be a little easier with John Collins, but Only one guy can shoot from nearly half court now that Steph isn't playing right now. We've got more coming. Hawks and Lakers still to come. You can catch it on NBA League Pass. Kyle Kuzma, who had been working within the Frank Vogel defense, said that he was maybe working on that so much. Kind of the offensive game was taking a little bit of a side, but not lately. That stepped up. And the defense, it has been there. Sometimes not all 4 quarters, but it's been enough. For one game against the Bulls, they're down 15. They only allowed 32 in the second half. Here's former Game Time co-host of mine, Mr. Frank Vogel.
Frank, sometimes the NBA schedule favors you and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, you had a day off yesterday. Atlanta had to play here. Does that make an impact in the way that you approach a game at all, or is it the same as usual?
It really doesn't. Whether a team played the night before or not, we do our work, we prepare. Sundays we've been, we may have a shoot around in the morning. Typically we'll come down here and have an afternoon walkthrough, and that was the case for today. But whether a team played the night before doesn't really impact anything for us.
What's the key with Trae Young? What have you seen from him this season?
He's a monster. He can beat you in a number of ways. He has the 4-point range off the bounce, which makes makes him one of the toughest guys in the NBA to defend. And what makes it tough is when you try to double team him, he has the ability to beat the double team, and still get into the paint, whether it's turning the corner or splitting or rejecting or the various ways you can beat a trap. He has that ability because of his speed. And when you add on 9 assists a game, he's sharing it as well and getting his teammates involved. So it doesn't matter what their record is. It doesn't matter what happened last night. This team came in and beat Denver a couple games ago, and we're going to have to be at our best to beat them.
Wondering what you thought of the rotation with Avery out, and if you're going to plan on going the same way tonight.
Yeah, we'll start KCP again. I think he deserves the chance after the performance, the two-way performance the other night. He always brings consistent defensive energy, and obviously gave us some scoring punch the other night. So he'll be in the starting lineup again.
What do you think lacked a little bit about scoring in the lineups last game when LeBron was out?
We have Rondo in the mix now, and we were playing against a team that was trying to junk the game up. You know what I mean? So when you're trying to work in new guys and the team's playing, trying to trick you with matchups, putting big guys on smalls and, just trying to bring some confusion to the game. Credit Luke for being creative, and I think it just slowed us down a little bit. But, ultimately we had a pretty strong offensive night on a slow-paced type of game, and, something hopefully we're better with tonight.
All right, there's Frank Vogel talking about the Lakers, and a good place to go to talk about here, obviously, Bisha, when you think about where these players were and now kind of how they develop in their new roles. And I want to go back to Kuzma for a second because he's one of the players centrally focused there. Everybody was looking for a third guy. Can he be that guy? What have you seen adjustment-wise that he's had to make or is currently now making in his game to fit with AD and LeBron on the floor?
Well, I think he has to take what the defense gives him. He's a guy that's not afraid of the moment. He offensively is going to, hunt down shots. So I don't think that they worry about him there. I think it was defensively finding a fit for him and getting him to understand the schemes and where he needs to be. Having coached on Frank Vogel's staff for 2 years, I know how much time he puts in terms of film work and a practice, probably 80% of the practice is defensive work and drills. And so getting these guys to buy into that amount of time and that amount of detail on the defensive end and what you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be on the floor is probably the biggest area that they were concerned about in terms of Kuzma.
Let's talk about defense and culture, and I'll use the team we were talking about in the last segment because, that he used to be with the Warriors, right? Because, Sam, when you watch that team, Kevin Durant, when he was on it, you would say, well, the best player is hunting down blocks, playing defense, going after loose balls. We know what Draymond does. How much does the continued, it may not be all 82 with the load management 4 quarters, but for LeBron and AD to buy in and show it, for Frank, for the rest of those guys to give the effort that coach is looking for from this group?
That's all that matters. Look, once LeBron James and AD says we're buying in defensively, it's a wrap because everyone else has to. You have no choice, and that's why it's important. And you hear Coach K say this all the time. You have to coach your best players. Because if you just coach those two guys in any shape, form, or fashion, everybody else going to listen. Anytime you say LeBron, AD, everybody's ears going to perk up. And then when you start talking about where you need to be offensively, where you're supposed to be defensively, and those guys respond, and then when you go and put that tape on the next day, and they're where they're supposed to be, and the coach is holding everyone accountable, that's when you know you got a good team. And then on top of it, you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If they've bought in those two guys, a lot of times, you know this, B, when you got players like that, all you have to do is worry about coaching, the X and O's. They're going to manage the locker room, and they're going to manage everybody's personality and everybody's mindset, because they're there for one purpose, to win a championship. And they're not going to let anybody else in that locker room come and be amongst that team unless they're single-minded with their focus.
When you sit there and you look at all that happened in the offseason with the Magic and the way he left and Pelinka, you got to give Rob, I think, some credit, because the pieces that they have gotten seem to fit. Danny Green, who we're looking at, thank you, timing upstairs, has worked out. Avery Bradley, a guy who we know can still shoot the ball, but really the defense and the attention to defense. The guys they brought in do the two things really they were lacking, and that is perimeter defense and shoot the ball. Those two have been big factors early.
They have been, and you know, people don't realize when Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson came into their positions a couple of years ago, it was their first time ever doing that job. Rob Pelinka had never been a general manager before. He had been an agent. Magic had never been a president and run a team. As great a basketball player as he was, he had never played that role or that position before. And so there were mistakes that were made. There were errors, you know, just in terms of just learning what to do in certain situations. But now being in the job for, 2.5 years or so and having a better feel for it, they did do a great job this offseason putting pieces together that fit with the guys that they had in the mainstay, the two cornerstones in LeBron and AD, adding the shooting, but also adding some defensive-minded guys like Danny Green, who plays both sides of the ball, but also Avery Bradley, especially because you're playing LeBron at the point guard. You can't expect for him to guard those little quick point guards on the other end, but Avery Bradley is a guy that can be an irritant and is one of the best on-ball defenders. And then a coach that is more defensive-minded like Frank Vogel. And then also having two other head coaches on your bench under Frank Vogel, and Jason Kidd and Lionel Hollins, who have years and years of experience. Jason, obviously, more recently a player than Lionel was. But, all of those things combined, really bodes for the job that Rob has done.
And the other thing is the perimeter defense, Sam, important because so many teams are trying to take jump shots against them, because in the middle, you're talking about clogged on defense when they've got Dwight and AD, or when JaVale, they've got a lot of size in the paint. So we talk about it, we were joking before, if you missed us during the last, it's like a telethon here on this Sunday night edition. I'm new here on these Sundays. But the paint usually wide open. We see guys go in. There's no space for that. So you're forcing teams to want to shoot from the outside, and now you've got the guys who on ball can handle it defensively.
Think about when those guys do this. Look at the length you have to drive around. Then when you finally get around those guys, you got AD, JaVale McGee, and Dwight Howard at times back there patrolling the paint. And those guys are not worried about, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard are not worried about fouls. They're going after everything. They're trying to block and shut down that paint with everything. And the thing that to give Rob Pelinka credit, when you see how he put this roster together, I guarantee you Frank Vogel hasn't had to have one conversation about roles. Why? When that LeBron James and Anthony Davis walk in that room in front of the team, everybody falls right in place. You know what your role are. If you're a shooter, you shoot. If you're a defender like Avery Bradley, you play D. If you're Rondo, when you get healthy, you run the team. Dwight, run, rebound, defend. He didn't have to say any of that. All he has to do, like B. Shaw said, spend 80% of his time making sure they play D. The offense will take care of itself. All you got to do is put LeBron James and Anthony Davis in a pick and roll and spread everybody else out. Hey, they're going to make something happen. So Frank Vogel, give him credit, give Rob Pelinka and the Lakers credit. They put together the right type of team, the right guys with the right personality, and now they got the right coach in Frank Vogel. He's just focused on defense, not worried about the offense so much. And look how this team is playing right now.
I'll tell you what, if we talk about coaching and not getting the attention they deserve for the culture they're building, and I know it's beginning steps, But in talking to Vince in the time he's been here, to people around the area, Lloyd's done a great job with this group. And you saw the job he did last year, Brian, with Trey. Because everybody looked at the numbers in the first half, and because they weren't watching Hawks games nationally, clearly, they thought he just can't shoot as well as we thought. It was bad shot selection because he was trying to do too much. Now, he will hit some of those crazy shots now, but you see more control. He's into the paint. He's using it. Even here you see it, the assists. Everything seems to have kind of upped a bit from what we saw when he walked in.
Well, now he's had a season to go around the league, to learn the personnel that he's playing against a little bit better, understands the system, and I'm sure as the season went along last year and leading into this year, had many conversations with Lloyd Pierce about what's a good shot, not a good shot, how to be more efficient in those situations. And so you're starting to see that come to fruition now in his second season, just feeling more comfortable being in that role. And it's tough when you are shooting the ball from, as they call, 4-point range. It's tough for a coach to allow you to shoot those kind of shots. But if you can make them consistently, and obviously he patterned his game after Steph Curry, who makes those shots and has become famous at making those shots, he's fallen right in line with that. And the fact that he's a willing passer and he does, on any given night, get close to double figures in assists as well, it makes the guys love to play with him.
You've seen some of the crazy shots. They showed one just before where he looked at, I was here the other night, he looked at the Nuggets bench, and I'm sure they didn't like that, but I mean, I think even he is sitting there knowing that he's on a different level with the shot making. I know we're not covering 94. Guys, Muggsy Bogues don't exist anymore, where Smitty will sit there and tell me all year and complain during breaks about being a point guard for a year because of that. But what are you doing defensively as a coach, Sam, when the guy really could step over half court, 2 dribbles, and you're in trouble?
Well, there's nothing you can't do because what he does, same thing Steph Curry does. They make you extend your defense out so far to where you're uncomfortable. Listen, in football, the closer you get to the goal line, the harder it is to pass the ball, right? Because that end zone only going to stand so far. The thing about Trae Young, when he comes across half court, and just think about it, when they bring a big up to set a brush screen to just knock that point guard off a little bit, what do you do if you're the big? If you come up, he's going to drive around you. If you stay back, you're planted lead-footed on the ground, and you got Trae Young coming at you full speed with a live dribble. All you can do is guess, and 90% of the time, you're going to guess wrong. The thing that you have to do with him, you got to be physical. When he drives to the basket, you got to put him on the ground, good, clean, hard fouls, and last but not least, when he gives it up, don't let him get it back. Coach told me this when I was a little bitty kid playing 7th grade basketball, rec league. He said, son, if you can't guard him, when he gives it up, don't let him catch it back. I've never seen anyone score.
And that's what Steph does in the corner all the time.
I've never seen anyone score in the history of the game without the basketball.
And I think that there's one thing that you can add to that, along with that list that you just made. On the defensive end, you gotta go at him.
Yep.
And you can't allow him to expend all his energy on the offensive end, going at you, shooting where he wants, having you on the string, yanking you around, and then have a night off on the defensive end. So you got to go down. He's a smaller point guard. You got to post him up. You got to have screen setters come and set good, hot, solid screens on him to wear him down on that end as well. So he just can't use all his energy.
Multiple screening roles, keep hitting him, and then by that 3rd or 4th quarter, those guys start winding down.
They're not the LeBron AD duo. I don't mean these two, they are. But Trae Young and John Collins were working together, building something last year, losing Collins. Look, the 25 games and why and all of that aside, it just takes away. The Hawks aren't winning the championship this year. Don't want to offend anybody here in Atlanta. But there was something kind of like almost all the last year into the way that it started. I'm starting to feel okay. It's becoming more of an interesting thing to watch here. They come off the floor. There's been more time for kids. And it's interesting because we talked to Markelle Fultz tonight, right? Top overall pick, and then everybody kind of cramping down. Cam Reddish is a guy who was a year before he came out. He was the he was going to be, not Zion, not R.J. Barrett, not anybody. It was him. He was the dude. And because he had trouble shooting, maybe didn't fit in, it was kind of like the full story from day one, people killing him till he had a couple of huge shots in the tournament. He's played well. DeAndre Hunter, the young kids they got can play some defense and length. We talk about the Lakers, a lot of guys who could sit there, position versatility, 6'7", 6'8", with a lot of length, Brian.
Yeah, and you know, I think that one of the things that happens too is that players have to also show that they don't only rely on their jump shot. And I think that was a knock on Cam Reddish coming out of Duke, was that what else can he do beside, you know, shoot the ball from the perimeter? And so, you know, you want to see him pump fake when guys are closing out on him, take it to the basket, get fouled, you know, be able to hit mid-range, but finish through contact and all, you know, and those things as well. And so, you know, you make it really, really difficult for yourself when you only make a living from hitting the shots, because your shots are not going to always go in.
Man, I got a chance to coach Cam Reddish when he was in high school at Adidas Nation. You see the talent. He reminds me of Tim Thomas, with 6'8", athletic, long, can play both ends of the floor. It's just going to take him, look, he's playing well, but you see this kid development. It's going to take him a little bit to grow into this role and learn about the NBA. But if you look at the young talent that this Hawks team have, man, their future got to be exciting, because I'm telling you put anybody out there that can play with Trae Young, he's going to make them better, because you have to expend so much energy guarding him, and the thing that he's devastating at, other than shooting, is getting rid of the basketball, finding open guys.
And I'll tell you what, they've drafted very well.
Yes.
Because Herter, we didn't even mention him. Wow. There have been so many people around the NBA last year were like, wait, who is that? With the way he could shoot the ball. Trae Young, you know he's going to want to put on a show out in the spotlight of L.A., where, yes, LeBron will be there. And the Lakers have been red hot. We're just 15 minutes away. Trae and the Hawks against the Lakers. Wanted him back in, but then, well, maybe not going to work. Warriors do make a run, but then the end of the run, because the finish line, a Melly 3 to book what'll be a Pels win and 7 consecutive losses for the Warriors. Worst start since many years ago. They went 2-16. I think Sam was still playing. Redick with 26. I think he was playing then too. 8 out of 16. Alexander Walker continues to play well. They give Alvin and that group credit. Look, balanced scoring. They're playing hard, 4-9, missing most of what we expected to see. We know we expect to see this. Trae v. Lakers. It's coming. Bit offense yet again. Magical indeed. And not only are they passing the ball, but when they do the swing, open shots have been hit. But there's open shots, and then there's shots hit by Markelle Fultz that matter in an NBA game in its highest level. That's a spoiler alert. We start, let's not spoil the fun. Vooch, he had 30-plus, big night, lead 8 early for the Magic, and then Markelle gets going, 14 points, 6 assists in the first half. Right?
Good for him. His confidence is really high right now, and he's being a big part of his team, getting a chance to play, show why he was the #1 pick overall.
Big flush at extra
Especially if Isaiah Thomas going to run the other way.
In the second quarter, Augustine dislocated finger. They put that back in, and Fultz back in the game. Spin and the drive, lead 14. It looked like it could be over-ish, and no, we mean really ish. Ish Smith finds Beal. 10,000 career points, Sam.
Yeah, Bradley Beal got about 9,000 more than I have in my career, and I'll tell you what, he's got about another 10,000 to come.
I wasn't counting. It was actually 9,002. No, I don't know. Miles at 21. 6 of 7 from 3. Vooch, he can do that too. Nice look from Augustine. 11 of 14 from the floor. 17 boards. 6 assists. Beal.
Doing what he does.
IT finds Beal. Does it again. 34. Season high. 5 out of 10 from 3. But we're not done. This is what he'll remember most. He'll want that pass back. Fultz. Biggest bucket of his young NBA career. A career high 19.
And a poster.
Yes, and a poster.
His first poster.
Sometimes it's not how you start, how you finish. Great game for Bradley Beal. End of the game was about a pass that went awry and the finishing touches of the best game we've seen yet at this level for Markelle Fultz. So what does he get? A conversation with us. kind enough to join us. Markelle, first of all, appreciate you coming on with us. Congratulations. I'll start with that possession. Take us through defensively what's said beforehand. You know, obviously, how hot Bradley Beal has been, and then through getting in the lane there defensively.
Yeah, we just talked about, they drive to the rim, let them get the layup, don't give up any threes. They were pretty hot towards the end from the three-point line, so I tried to fan out, and I seen them about to pass it. I see IT, and I just tipped the ball and went to go get it.
Markelle, Brian Shaw here. Just wanted to ask you a quick question. First of all, I like the fact that you're wearing number 20. I wore that number. That's special to me. Gary Payton, who I grew up with, wore that number as well, so I think you're wearing it well. I'm happy, for your success this season. You're starting to play better and better. Question for you. I don't think that you ever lost your confidence in terms of your skill set. Do you have your confidence in terms of your physical ability and the things that you weren't able to do physically that you're able to do now, and is that why your play is starting to show that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I never lost confidence, like you said. And I'm just feeling better. I took the time this summer to rehab and get everything right physically. And each game out there, I'm feeling more and more better, and it's just showing in my play. And I think I'm just going to keep going.
See, Sam, you got the point total wrong. We just eliminated you entirely. Eliminating Memphis, 39 from Jamal Murray.
I love it.
Grizz, Jokic, and Ja. And early showing off the handles. Look at this. Dipsy-Doo finds Valanciunas for three.
Nice.
Durant, he can do that too. A little step back, too much space. Buries his own 13.6 assists lead, 11. But for guards, it was about trying to guard this guy. Jamal Murray, crafty inside. And then this time off the nice feed, too easy. And look at all these buckets inside at 39. We know he can hit the big threes, which we'll see, but how about the work underneath?
Well, Jamal just making easy cuts to the basket, getting wide open, and the big fella, the Joker, he just dimed him up with these backdoor passes.
Right, made it easy. Lead 21. It was 23 at the break. Nuggets close it out. And they do so with Millsap inside. Jokic, reverse. No chance defensively. And finishing touches for what a night it was, Jamal Murray. From deep, season high, 39. Didn't even play in the fourth quarter. They held him for load man. No, it wasn't load man. Murray at 39. Millsap with 23. The Grizzlies dropped to 5 and 8. Tough to defend Denver when they're shooting as well as they do. But normally we talk about Jokic, we talk about the shooting. But Sam, fast breaking? Now, I left Jokic out, but there were others that were running the break. They had some easy buckets in this game, which makes them even more difficult.
Well, Case, let's talk about, they got the fast break because of their defense. And that's the thing, if you're Mike Malone, you want to start your break with defense. Watch this right here. Look at Ja Morant. He's going to learn you have to change speeds when you're coming off this triple screen. Right now, he's going at the same space, and Jamal Murray reads the play. He just steps in and runs straight through the pass for an easy dunk. All right, on this next play again, look at the defense here of the Denver Nuggets. Look at Joker is right walling off. But again, look at the little guy. I can't see his name right there. Look at him in the paint, swiping at the ball, getting an easy steal again. And the Joker starting the first pass for a fast break with a steal. And last but not least, again, look at the lock-in trail of the Denver Nuggets. All the bigs up here, Paul Millsap gets it. Either back to Paul Millsap for either dunk. And the thing about it, Casey, when you watch Denver, when we talked about teams playing like they have a chance to compete for a championship, they're doing it with defense. And you look at all their guys up. Even Joker, when the guys come off the screen, he's walling that screen up. He's not letting that guard get down here. And then the guys on the weak side are in the eye, guarding the paint, and they're going to force you to skip that ball over where they can chase it down, close out, and get elbows in boxes and stop all dribble penetration.
That was, by the way, Smitty and Kate, yes, it was Sparty Gary Harris that Sam made.
I can't see that good. I don't have my glasses on. Look.
In his career, somewhere about that. I think it was like 900. When you look at the outside of the guard play, we saw Will Barton. We know he can get hot. Gary Harris, speaking of which, right? Beasley, Morris, one after another. But Jamal Murray, and we saw it in his buddy Devin Booker, those one-on-ones last year. We're talking about a guy who could shoot, has confidence, and when he gets on, he could really put up buckets fast, but tonight did it in a different way than we're used to, attacking the basket rather than just the three-point line.
Well, what happens is Denver is so deep and they have so many guys that can hurt you from the outside that the defense starts to get worried about taking away their perimeter shots. And what does it do? It leaves the paint open. And when you have a willing passer and a great somebody with the vision like Jokic has on the outside, being your facilitator and your playmaker, and you know that if you cut hard and keep moving without the ball, that he's going to deliver it on time and on target, then that's what you get. And so tonight was a perfect example of that, where they had the defense extended. Jokic had the ball at the top of the floor, and Murray just was perpetual motion. And so he was getting backdoor cuts. Jokic was feeding him, and then he was finishing inside.
You know, Sam, sometimes you just get the perfect fit. Jamal, when he came out of college, now he knew when he wanted to take the challenge of being a point guard. But people looked at it and he said, oh, he's a shooter. Wrong place. He maybe gets lost in what do I do? Is he a one or a two? With Jokic, and as you said, the ability that we know he has to facilitate, where you could use him almost as a point man. Murray's able to be more free-flowing than he would on most. He's just a perfect fit for his.
Well, think about it. You can put the Joker at that high post, and you can run all different kind of offense with him. He can dribble, hand off. He can lead. He can pass, go into the screen. He can hit you with the back door. And the thing that's deceiving about him, you would normally say crowd the big guy. They can't go around you. Well, he may be slow. He may look slow. But you ask the guys who are guarding him, did you see the spin move on Jaren Jackson on the baseline? That's the thing that separates him from a lot of bigs. Even though you may not respect his athleticism or lack of, he's quick enough to beat you with deception and ball fakes that if you crowd him, he would get you off balance, drive by you, and still make a play for himself or his teammates.
Memphis played hard. They've done a nice job this season, learning experience for Ja, but Denver too tough. Speaking of tough, being LeBron or anybody on the Lakers, you get so many big names who can come in the house, especially your agent, now the GM. Hey, great job on the moves, not just all the moves you and I made together. How about the moves these two made together? KCP, the king, on lockdown early against Trey. 24. Okay. Dance it up, people. By the way, we're already on the DAP. How quick have you gone to Twitter, Sam, to talk about your point total?
Not ever.
All right. Lakers and Hawks will keep you posted.
Hey, man, you don't have to Twitter about 10
Trey
points.
may need some 4-point plays tonight. We have a lot more still to come on Game Time. Little production meeting here live on the air. You got High Tops and Olsen, the list. And then when we see you back, we will have more on the Lakers. Hopefully the list will include double-digit scoring total from the Hawks team. It is out and about early at Staples from the Lakers. Who can do that to you? And that's the other thing is, we're talking about LeBron and the assists. I got to go back to where we were a couple of hours ago. You sat there watching this last year. There were a lot of times where that assist total could have been really high. Wasn't what he wasn't doing. You don't want to get it on anybody. They didn't have shot makers. Now, everywhere he looks, shot makers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they surrounded him with that and a guy who he can go into a two-man game and pick and roll, which you have to devote attention to him and AD, which opens it up for everybody else. So not only are the shooters better than what he had to work with last year, but also the system and the guy that he has to create even better looks for those guys he has available now.
And also extra opportunity, all the bigs too. Second chance points, extra opportunities. That's one team you do not want to do that with the Lakers.
Man, they can just devastate you on the glass. And the thing about it, they don't have to worry about foul trouble because they just bring those guys in lows and just run them at you. And the thing about it, all those guys are enthusiastic about being there. All those guys want to be there. They've accepted their role, and that's why the Lakers are playing so well right now.
It's late, so we'll do what in honor of your Cowboys Jason Garrett likes to do. We'll run. We'll be back in an hour here on the show.
We did win today, little fella.
Game Time Live. I've been saving that one. Sam.
Jason, I'm with you, Coach. I'm with you until I can't